ẹ bá mi pè é o. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Rédíò. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, lórí X, lórí YouTube, lórí TikTok. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Ẹ bá mi pè é o. Rédíò. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo àfínjú. Rédíò àfínjú. Rédíò àfínjú. Rédíò àfínjú.
What's up, Naija? Did you miss any entertainment gist or music updates over the week? And if yes, then Catch Up is what you need to stay informed. Catch Up is loaded with 3 mind-blowing segments. Are you fascinated with the gbas-gbos on social media? Let's talk about it on What Trended over the week. Music lovers, it's time to get your playlist updated with our top 10 songs. Then, brace yourself to explore the world as we take you places. There is no other way to get you updated than Catch Up. Join Spicy Honey Drops and your radio gem on Catch Up every Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. on Radio Afinju for a moment of fun. Don't worry, Catch Up got you covered.
Hey there, Super Kids! Are you ready for a ride of fun and learning? Get ready to blast off on Kids Arena with Aunty Pearl and crew on Radio Afinju every Saturday at 10 to 11 a.m. Listen to stories that will tickle your bones, games that will blow your mind, and music that will make you dance like no one's watching. There's also lots of surprises and gifts to be won. So gather your friends, turn up the volume, let's have fun and make awesome memories together on Kids Arena with Aunty Pearl and crew. Only on Radio Afinju. Yeah! Good morning, children. Good morning, Auntie. How are you doing today? It's another Saturday morning. And you know now, Saturday are when we come together on Kiddies Arena to learn, to have fun, to play music, and generally just entertain ourselves. I hope you are up from bed by this time because it's already 10 a.m. 10 a.m. If you were going to school, you will not see me in bed by this time. So get up now and start doing something, okay? I hope you had a fantastic week so far because I did. Yes, I had a splendid week. And even though the week is coming to an end, it's not so much of a holiday for me. There's still work to do. But nonetheless, I am happy to be here. My name is Pearl and I'm your host for Kiddies Arena. But of course, again, I don't do this alone. Every Saturday, I have 2 young ladies joining me on the show. By my left, I have with me
Sophia Abidi.
By my left, you're not on my left.
I was actually
I deliberately said by my left.
Sorry, my name is Mustafa Foladara Ewaoluwa.
Okay, good to have you here again. Ewa, how are you doing? How was your week?
Good. It was okay. It was better than last week.
Okay, fantastic. Good to know that. And you, Sophia?
Good morning, everyone. I am doing very fine this morning. And about the week, it was fair.
It was fair.
It was fair.
When you say fair, what do you mean?
It was fair. We just had to do this, to that. Forgive me.
School is really dealing with you, isn't it?
It is. It is. Because I had to do a bit of tests this week, and it was kind of very frightening for me.
Okay.
But I was able to come through for it.
Of course, you are Sophia.
Right. All right, good to have you here on the show, and good to have you, our listeners, our audience watching us on Facebook right now. Good to have you here again this morning. Again, I hope you're having a fantastic week. If you're not already following us on social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, X, all social media platforms at Radio Afinju. You can also listen to our audio stream on our website at www.afinjufm.com. Kiddies Arena is a place to be because here we learn, we do storytelling, we also do grammar, current affairs, word of the day. You learn new words to add into your vocabulary, and you also, of course, you do current affairs to learn more about the world, to learn more about your country and other important current affairs, of course. And also we also do a little bit of safety, upkeep, how to take care of yourself and your environment. So it is a show for everyone, not just children. It is a show for everyone. Last week on our storytelling segment, it was a story about what, Ewa?
The tree that learned to bend.
The tree that learned to bend. It was a story about learning the art of compromising sometimes. It is good to be resilient. It is good to, I would say, stubborn sometimes. But there are certain situations that calls for other actions. Now, those actions, it may not be what you want to do at that point in time. It may not be something you even like, but in the long run, you find out that it benefits you, just like the tree in the story that we read. That was the moral lesson from last week. And then in grammar segment, what did we do in grammar last week?
We did sentence structure, where we talked about the different types of sentences we have, how they are being formed, and we talked about the forms of sentence. When we talk about the imperative sentence, that's a sentence asking for commanding. We talked about different types of sentence structure. And on the current affairs, we had the world slave trade. We talked about the influences and effects the world slave trade had as in Nigeria and Africa in general. And on the word of the day for last week, we talked about ingenuity. So I think that was all for last week.
Okay, and in my segments, I talked about peer pressure, types of peer pressure, and how to deal with peer pressure when you find yourself in a situation where you are being asked, whether directly or indirectly, to do something that goes against your values. How do you handle such? So it's always so packed with many lessons, and today will not be an exception. We did read last week, but unfortunately no winner from last week. We had no winner from last week. Well, if time permits, today there is also an opportunity to win. That's if time permits, because we have limited time on the show. Today we'll be doing 30 minutes instead of an hour, so we really do not have much time to spare. All right, so without wasting much of our time, we'll go straight into what we'll have for today, which is the first is the storytelling segment. And once we come back from this break, Ewa is going to take us on another ride. I don't know if it's going to be imaginative this time around, but we're going to find out once we come back from this break, so don't go anywhere.
You can drive your toothbrush, do it every day to fight against decay. You may not drive a truck, you may not drive a bus, but you can drive your toothbrush, do it every day.
Welcome back to the show. It's still Kiddies Arena with Aunty Pearl and crew on Radio Afinju, the radio station with an impeccable dimension to broadcasting. It is time for storytelling with Miss Froladara Ewa Oluwa. Over to you, Ewa.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today's story is titled The Emperor's New Clothes.
It reminds me of a cartoon, The Emperor's New School, but continue.
Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lived a mighty and powerful emperor. He was just a ruler, loved by his people, and he spent his days making sure his kingdom was prosperous and happy. But the emperor had one major flaw. He was extremely vain. He loved nothing more than to dress up in the finest clothes and parade around his kingdom, showing off his magnificent attire to anyone who would look. One day, two swindlers came by the kingdom. They were clever and cunning, and they had a plan to take advantage of the emperor's vanity. "We are the finest weavers in the land," they said. "We can make you the most magnificent clothes you have ever seen. They'll be made of the finest silk and gold thread, and they will shine like the sun." The emperor was immediately taken in by the swindler's promises. He gave them a large sum of money, and he told them to get to work on the clothes. The swindlers set up their looms and pretended to work on the clothes, but in reality they were just pretending to weave. They would occasionally hold up a piece of fabric and say, "Oh, look at this magnificent thread. It's the finest in the land." The emperor would come to visit them every day, and they would show him the fabric and tell him how wonderful it was. Finally, the day arrived when the swindlers told the emperor that the clothes were finished. They held up a piece of fabric and said, "Behold, your majesty, your new clothes are the most magnificent in the land." The emperor looked at the fabric, but he couldn't see anything. He looked again and again, but all he saw was a blank piece of fabric. The swindlers told the emperor that the clothes were invisible to anyone who was unfit for the position or who was stupid. But to anyone who was wise and clever, the clothes were the most magnificent thing they had ever seen. The emperor was taken in by the swindler's trick. He didn't want to appear stupid or unfit for his position, so he pretended to see the clothes, even though there was nothing there. The next day, the emperor held a grand procession through the streets of his kingdom. He wore his quote-unquote new clothes, which again were just nothing, and showed them off to his people. But as he marched, he noticed that his people were not admiring his clothes. Instead, they were looking at him with confusion and amusement. I wonder why. One little boy in the crowd pointed at the emperor and said, "But he's not wearing anything at all." The emperor was furious, but he also felt a little silly. He realized that he had been tricked by the swindlers and that he was indeed wearing nothing at all.
Didn't he realize?
The moral of today's story: honesty is always the best policy. Don't pretend to know something you don't. The emperor's fear of appearing foolish led him to pretend to see the clothes that weren't there. If he had been honest and admitted that he couldn't see the clothes, he would have avoided embarrassment and saved himself from being tricked. Remember, it's always better to be honest and authentic, even if it's difficult or uncomfortable. I feel like that's what the emperor was trying to do. They avoid discomfort.
And I think the swindlers, because they saw that, okay, this was an emperor that was very vain and took pride in his appearance, they saw that as a loophole in his character, and then thought, okay, let's use this loophole to our advantage. And also because they knew he was a person of pride, there was no way he was going to say, "Oh, I can't see anything that you are weaving, I can't see what you're." He wouldn't want to look stupid or anything, so he had to also pretend that he could see, "Oh, this is a very beautiful garment." Meanwhile, he wasn't seeing anything. So it pays to be honest, it pays to be true to yourself, because if the moment they showed the outfit at first, he had said, "I can't see anything, what are you trying to show me?" quickly he would have gotten hang of what the swindlers were up to, instead of going about naked and having to embarrass himself like that. So thank you so much, Ewa, for that story. And next we are going with current affairs from Sophiat. What do you have for us this morning, Sophiat?
This morning we are going in a unique way. We are talking about the World Radio Day. the World Radio Day. It's very connected to us in the radio atmosphere.
Okay.
So World Radio Day, I want to say a very big is it shout out now? A big World Radio Day to all OAPs, on-air personalities, and to everyone who has always been in the radio broadcasting industry. Many more of it. We hope that the Radio Day would bring more of us together to see the influence and impact we're actually giving back to the society. So let's talk about World Radio Day. It's a celebration of sound and connection. I think I love that. A celebration of sound and connection. Every year on February 13th, the world celebrates World Radio Day, a special day dedicated to recognizing the power of radio in informing, educating, and entertaining people across the globe. Established by UNESCO in 2011, this day reminds us that radio remains one of the most accessible and trusted sources of information, even in the digital age. Even with the use of internet, radio is one of the most accessible and trusted source of information. You can always trust whatever is coming from the radio. Unlike television and the internet, radio reaches remote areas, providing news and education to people who may not have access to other media. The invention of radio dates back to the late 19th century, and by the 1920s, it became a revolutionary tool for communication. Over time, radio has played a crucial role in history, connecting people during wars, broadcasting space missions, and even saving lives during natural disasters by providing emergency alerts. Each year, World Radio Day has a unique theme that highlights a particular aspect of radio's impact. And the theme for World Radio Day this year was radio and climate change. Radio and climate change. Each year, World Radio Day has a unique theme that highlights a particular aspect of radio's impact, encouraging broadcasters and listeners to appreciate the influence in society. For children, radio is not just about news. It's also about adventure, storytelling, music, and fun educational programs that spark curiosity and imagination. Like the one we have in Kiddies Arena currently. Interestingly, before television became popular, families would gather around the radio to listen to dramas, songs, and even sporting events. Radio is still one of the most popular ways for people to get information and entertainment, especially in areas where not everyone has access to the internet or TVs. Radio stations can broadcast news, music, and educational programs to people all over the world, like we do on Radio at Finjo. In fact, radio is still one of the most widely used forms of media in the world, with over 44,000 radio stations broadcasting in over 200 countries. Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. 44,000 radio stations broadcasting in over 200 countries. And like I said earlier, this year's theme for World Radio Day is radio and climate change. And that is all for current affairs this morning.
Okay, thank you so much, Sophia. I think it's significant that we pay attention to how radio has evolved over the years. I mean, I know there was a time they used to literally watch football matches by just listening to the radio. So as the commentator is speaking, you just have to paint you have to paint your vivid imagination to see how whatever it is they are describing is being played out. And it's not so much different from what happens today, because in as much as a lot of radio stations now stream online where you can see the visuals, radio still does a lot in making people, it builds your creativity, it builds your imagination. If you're listening to me right now, you cannot see me, you can imagine how I'm genuflecting, how I'm interacting, how the three of us here are interacting on the show. Everything we are saying, you are trying to paint a picture of how it is all playing out. And even in this modern world, we still have certain remote areas where they listen to radio only. That is their only way of getting information from the outside world. That's the only way they connect with the people outside them. That's how they know what is going on in different areas. Some of them don't have TVs, or they don't even have electricity, so they just have to do with radio, where they use batteries, and then they connect with people. So it is important that we know the significance. A lot of people might want to argue that nobody listens to the radio anymore, but that's not true. That is not true at all. You need to go to Radio Garden and listen to and see people that are currently live listening to radio. Thousands of people. Even while I was much younger and I was yet to have a phone, I listened to the radio a lot of times. We would call in on this show sometimes in an attempt to win gifts, just like I do here now, just like we do here now on Kiddies Arena, where we ask questions and then you call in to answer those questions, and then if you're lucky enough, you win gifts. That was the radio's way of communicating, breaking stories. You want to know what's going on. The radio has always been there, and there are people that still have this attachment to their radios despite the involvement of the internet and everything. They carry their radio everywhere they go. So it is important that these things are celebrated, because we have really come a long way. All right, so we really don't have much time now, but we are supposed to do word of the day. Okay, so quickly.
Our word of the day is spelled V-I, V-A, C-I, O-U-S. V-I, V-A, C-I, O-U-S. It is pronounced vivacious. Vivacious. It is an adjective that means full of life, energy, and enthusiasm. Lively and spirited. Lively and spirited. That's the short definition for vivacious, lively, and spirited. We have the synonyms, words we can use to when we probably don't want to use the word vivacious, to replace vivacious. We have energetic, we have lively, we have spirited, we have cheerful, and we have exuberant. We have lively, energetic, spirited, cheerful, and exuberant. And we have antonyms, words in opposites. We have dull, we have lifeless, we have sluggish, and we have passive. And let's use vivacious in sentence. We have a vivacious personality made her the center of attraction at the party. She was the lively person of the party, life of the party. And let's have another one. She had a vivacious laugh that was contagious. That's so beautiful. And that is all for word of the day and current affairs this morning.
All right,
And
thank
Pearl,
you.
Do you think we can drop a riddle before?
Okay, we still have some. I was going to do a little bit of my segment, but let's have a riddle before we run out of time.
It's a short and simple one.
What was last week's riddle that nobody even got?
I think that one was
I think I am something we know some.
it was I have a face and 2 hands, but I am not human.
Okay. That was a very simple
And
riddle.
nobody got it.
A clock.
Yes, it
was
is
a clock.
Yes, and I was quite surprised
A
nobody
face
got.
and hands, but anyways, that's gone. Today's riddle is: what can you catch but cannot throw?
What can you catch?
I already
What
know.
can
I
you
know the
catch
answer to that.
but cannot throw. I'm trying to make it so easy because it's been so long since you guys want to
Yeah,
give.
it's been so long we had a winner. When you
Right.
have, data is expensive now. All the telecoms, they've increased their tariff plans,
Right.
so you have an opportunity to actually win a free data gift, and you guys are sleeping on it. If I were you, I would start racking my brain now so I can get this riddle.
But I suppose that I'm not eligible. I would have,
You are
You're
not.
not.
As long as you're on this show, unless maybe you're not making an appearance on this show, but as long as you're making an appearance on this show, then you're not eligible. Yes, it's for the it's for the audience, it's for the listeners. All right, so we still have a few minutes to go. Today I'll be talking about staying safe from bullying, from bullies rather. Staying safe from bullies. Last week I talked about peer pressure. We see that all the time in most areas of our life, but today I want to talk about even something more specific. That's bullying. Bullying can happen anywhere, on the road, at the streets, in the market, in schools, especially in schools. I've had my fair share of bullying, and I'm sure one or two children listening to me now, they've also had their even adults also do get bullied,
Yeah,
right?
I'm a victim of that. Even as when I was in secondary school. But I don't know if it's supposed to be fortunate or unfortunate for me, because they are even from my own gender. They were females. When everybody just
were they bigger in size compared to you?
Yes,
very much
I
bigger.
faced the same thing, because I was very small in secondary
Yeah,
school.
I was
I was
tiny.
I was also at the receiving end of bullying as well, because I was one of the smallest, obviously one of the smallest people in class then. So I was like very, very small. I was easily picked on. So what's bullying? You're thinking bullying is mostly when somebody is making fun of you, picking on you, and most of the time it's usually for no just reason. Maybe just to make them, maybe just to have a laugh. They just want to have fun. They just, maybe it makes them happy. I think that's the point. They just want to pick on you. They want to get you angry, probably because it makes them happy. Usually over and over and over again, they keep doing the same thing. So if you're in that position and somebody is picking on you in school, wherever you find yourself, that's bullying. And one way you can handle I think it is best when you're facing a bully or when somebody is bullying you, the first thing is don't react immediately. Just stay calm, because it's easy for you to get into a fight, and if the person involved is somebody that can, maybe somebody that is bigger, it's usually the bigger kids that do that to the smaller kids, especially if they're big in size. It's easy for them to want to pick on you, and if you react like that, you can get hurt, because you can get into a fight with these people and something will just happen, and then maybe they beat you up or something. So the first is to stay calm, and then if you have an authority, you can easily just, if you're in school, you can report to your teacher, or you can report to your parents at home, right? So I really wish I can get into this, because it's a very personal topic for me. It's very, very personal. Speaking for me, I'm going to be speaking from a first person perspective, but maybe next week I'm going to get into that. Yes, next week I'm going to get into bullying. Esteemed Temitayo, thank you for joining us on the show this morning. Good to have you here. Well, we have to round up now. So sorry for not staying as much as we'd love to, but join us again same time, 10 o'clock a.m. Don't forget Arido. I am something you can catch
Me, but you can't.
but you can't throw me. I know the answer, but it's for you, and you stand a chance of winning data gifts courtesy of our sponsor Veracious Pay app. So thank you so much for joining Kiddies Arena today. I am still Pearl, and with me, where
I am Sophia Abidemi Azan.
And I am Mustafa Foladar Ewolua.
and on that note, we say
Bye-bye.
I was feeling oh so sad that I went to see